stories are a huge part of my life. I read a huge amount from the submissions for JewishFiction.net. Thousands. Since we started in 2010, I've read thousands of short stories that are Jewish themed or see themselves as Jewish themed, including Danila had a story, one of the stories from this book, Don't Look Back, was a story that we published in Jewish Fiction.
It's true, it's very,
yeah.
It's an amazing website. If you guys haven't seen it, you really should. It's amazing.
It's an online literary journal. It's free of charge, called JewishFiction.net, www.jewishfiction.net.
That's amazing.
Thank you. One of the things I've had to deal with in a practical way, which a question that is really a theoretical question for most people is, what is Jewish fiction? But for me, I've had to deal with it very concretely, otherwise I can't decide what to reject as not Jewish fiction for this journal. And I won't go into it here. If anyone's interested in the introduction to 18, I explore this question in great detail and depth. But it's fascinating that this is such a contentious question and that there's no answer. And in fact, a couple of months ago, Adath magazine in New York asked me to interview 7 women writers, Americans. They wanted all Americans, so they were all Americans. And they had completely conflictual and contradictory answers. One person said that it's Jewish fiction if it has a Jewish character in it. Another said no, there didn't have to be a Jewish character. Someone said the author had to be Jewish. Another one said the author doesn't. I don't think the author has to be Jewish, by the way. We have an incredible story in here, translated from Polish, written by a non-Jew and translated by one of the best non-Jew, not best translators, and she's not Jewish. She translated "Drive Your Plow over the Bones." She's in Antonia, and she's an incredible translator. Yeah, absolutely amazing story. So anyway, without going into all that, I live and breathe Jewish fiction, and for me, why do I write it myself? Well, partly it comes out that way because I'm Jewish, but not everything. In fact, what's fascinating for me, this has never happened. Yom Kippur in a gym is Jewish. In sickness and in health, it's not. Yeah. And someone actually said to me, "Well, why didn't you want consistency? So why didn't you make it Jewish?" And one of the things about what is not Jewish fiction is throwing in a bagel and a Jewish name.
Yeah, right.
I would refuse to do that as a matter of principle. And it's true that you can look at sickness and health as themes through a Jewish lens, but that wasn't what this character was doing. So I didn't force it to be. As for writing Jewish stories, and I use the word stories to include novels and whatever, fiction, writing Jewish fiction, I think, as we all know, I mean, we're in a shul, we're in a synagogue, and this is a terrible time for Jews in the world, actually. It's a terrible time in Israel, and it's a terrible time for Jews worldwide. It's quite a unique historical moment. And I think that capturing Jewish experience, what we really feel and what we're really experiencing, is absolutely essential. And that was the feeling that I had when I wrote my first novel, Fields of Exile, which is the first and only novel, as was mentioned, about anti-Israelism, anti-Semitism on campuses. And I felt like someone has to get this down and someone has to tell the truth about this. And as I said before, truth for me means writing fiction. And I just hope people continue to write Jewish fiction because our lives and our experiences need to be recorded in a truthful way for posterity. That's what I feel.